Hello with everyone, my name is Jefferson Fernando. This is my identification document. Okay, in this occasion I'm going to talk about the agreements on government case through an example based on an anecdote. Okay, first, to begin, I'm going to give a small introduction about what agreements are. Agreements refers to the grammatical correspondence between words of part of speech. In English, agreements generally involves agreements in number, persons, and gender between specific elements, such as subject and verb, or noun and pronouns. Okay? As Vivanco mentioned, the agreement is also called concord, and it's a form of cross-reference. It means the relationship between the different elements of a sentence or phrase. Okay? Continue. In this part, you find a table that contains the rules of agreements, which will serve as a reference to explain the details in each sentences of the story. Okay? Continue with the presentation. We have the next topic, which is government. Government, as mentioned by Guzman, government refers to the grammatical control that certain elements exert over others in a sentence. One element governing another establishes certain grammatical rules that the control element must follow. Okay, well, as Vivanco mentioned, in English, the only form of government is called case. That's why there are the three main case distinctions in English pronouns. We have number one is nominative case, genitive case, accusative, and the they case. Okay, in this part, we have the three distinctions of case. Okay, well, once this part has explained, we start with the story to detail, part by part. Okay, the story says, to start the story, the story takes place when I was doing an internship in an educational institution, so there were days when I had to take care of students' course since the teachers were busy for different reasons. And one day, when I was in a church of students, there was a small group that didn't listen to the recommendation, so I gave them a choice between watching their cell phones or attending classes. Okay, in this part, we have an example rule of agreement. The rule is, the rule in this part is two singular subjects connect by or, either or neither nor, what requires a singular verb. You can see in this part we have the sentences connect by or is a noun, and this is the sentences watching their cell phones or attending classes. Okay, this is an example of two singular subjects connect by or. Okay, continue. We have the next sentences is they have to make a decision. In this part we have had is a verb in a singular form. Okay, this is very important, don't forget. And continue. The next sentences says, at this point neither the teacher nor the students they know what to do. Okay, in this part we have an example of when having singular and plural as subject, and we use or use neither in this part, or neither nor, they must agree with the noun or pronoun close to it. Okay? In these sentences we have an example when I have singular and plural, we use the connector is neither and the noun, and we have the noun is the verb, and verb don't change, okay, because we have a singular and plural subject, okay, and the verb don't change. Okay, continue with the story. Since their response was what they would not to do anything. Okay, continue with the story. Sorry. So I had to come up with a strategy so that the students could cooperate in a better way, and that was that both the students and the teacher have to be in sync. Okay, in this part is a case of when the subject are singular or plural and are connected by and the connector, and use a plural verb form. Okay, in this part the have is a verb is a plural form. Okay, in this part is a clear. This part the students and the teacher have to be in sync. Is an example when use the subject are singular or plural and are connected by and use a plural verb form. In this part. Okay, this is a clear example. Continue. In order for a teacher to capture the student's attention, he must apply fresh didactics methods, or share likes and dislikes with the students. In this case, I applied through games. This motivates the students, so the students that they feel free to participate, no matter if they make mistakes. Since through this, they will be identified in what they have difficult to learn, and they will be correct little by little. Okay, continue with story. As an important part is that the teacher as well as the students need to be constant, and this will help to reinforce the level of learning of the students. Okay, in this part is an example of in cases in which a singular subject is separated by a phrase such as with, as well as, the verb remains in agreement with the subject since these phrases are not part of it. Okay, in this part we have the subject is teacher. Okay, separate the sentences. In this part is separate phrase with the this words as well as is very important, and the verb don't change. Okay, because it's a plural form. Okay, this is a clear example when use the expression as well as, or use the expression along with. Okay, this is a clear example when using the sentences. Okay, continue. As the days went by, it was determined that 10% of the group is not doing the activities. In this part is an example of, okay, in this part we have an example. If the now after of is singular, use a singular verb with words like percent, fraction, majority, some, all, and etc. if the noun is plural, we then use a plural verb form. Okay. In this part, we use the expression percent, and the verb is a singular, and use the singular form. This part, the group is not doing the activities. Okay. And this is all the rules we use in the of the agreements. Okay. Continue. Preparing students, that was my task. Okay. In this part, we find example of we have an example of genitive case, because it is not a possessive and it shows ownership. Okay. In this case, we have my is the was possessive determinate and the function as modifiers. Okay. In this part is example of governments, and is example genitive case. Okay. In this part of the sentence. Continue. Finally, the English teacher thanked me for the English classes. Okay. In this part, we have an example of accusative case. It is related to the use of objective nouns or pronouns which receive the action in the sentences. Okay. In this part, we have teacher is the subject, thank is the verb, me is the indirect objective, is a example of dative, sorry. In English class is direct objective, and accusative. Okay, is an example in this part. These sentences is separate part by part and explain how when we use an accusative case. Okay, and continue and say that implementing this strategy has been a great help in motivating the students. And this was my anecdote from when I was a teacher. Okay, to finish, this is the last case of governments, and this part we have the subject, and we have the subject complement, because it's a case of nominative case, because it refers to the nouns or pronouns used as a subject and for the subject complement. Okay, and a point very important in the accusative case is the subject can be person, thing, or animal when it is affected by the action described in the verb. We have the different parts. Direct object is the action is happening in them directly, and the indirect object is the place, person, thing for when the action is taking place. Okay, don't forget that this is very important to identify the accusative case in this part. Okay, continue. This is my all of my presentation. Finish with my presentation about my anecdote or my story, and this is the bibliographic references that I used to make my presentation. This is all my presentation. Thank you for watching the video, and goodbye.